A Section 8 tenant in Philadelphia figured out a loophole in the system that allowed her to move to Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's going over the story of this Section 8 tenant who figured out an interesting loophole in the whole, government system, right? So to make it quite simple, when you have a Section 8 voucher, the federal government has made it easy to be able to transfer that voucher between different housing authorities, right? So normally a person, what they would do is they'd be like, for example, living in a large city such as Philadelphia, and then they'd decide, hey, I want to move to one of the local suburbs, right? But those local suburbs would be under a separate housing authority. So they made the Section 8 vouchers portable so that you could keep your voucher, move over here to this suburb, and still remain under Section 8. Well, the tenant in this story actually figured out that these vouchers are portable throughout the entire country, okay? Not just within the local area. So she took her Philadelphia housing voucher and moved all the way out to Honolulu, Hawaii, okay? And Honolulu actually has a pretty long waiting list for Section 8 vouchers because there's a lot of people out there who are supposedly in need of affordable housing, right? So she was able to skip the line and then, instantly enter their Section 8 program. And a lot of people are saying, they're crying foul. They're saying, oh, this isn't fair. This isn't fair. But, I have a different perspective, right? My perspective is, hey, she figured out your screwed up system. She figured out what was going on here. And she is, following all of the rules you put in place so that she could create, her ideal lifestyle, right? Now, I don't like Section 8 as a program at all because of the way that it's implemented. Now, I do participate in it, right? But I don't do that because I like the program. I do that because, simply put, I inherited Section 8 tenants, okay, when I bought the properties. So, this is one of those situations where I believe that by her doing this, right, she will actually cause somebody to want to take action and then close the loopholes, close the possibility for this system to be abused, okay? So the only way you can make change is by basically, exposing those flaws. It's kind of like she was a hacker, She is exposing the flaws within this messed up system, and now they're forced to, put a patch on it, create fixes for this issue. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. What do you think of this tenant who decided that, she didn't want to live in cold, dirty, crime-ridden Philadelphia anymore and decided to take her Section 8 voucher and then move to Honolulu, Hawaii? When I was reading the article, it said that you could pretty much do this and move anywhere within the United States. And that includes like Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands. I mean, come on. Why would you possibly want to stay in, just some awful place if you didn't have to, okay? So I know people have family ties. I think that's mostly what holds people in the place where they're at. But, if the government will allow you to just move on into Section 8 housing somewhere else that's much, much nicer, then go ahead and do it. So let's get into the article. This article is coming from fox5vegas.com, and it says, with a long local wait list, portability of Section 8 vouchers from other states draws concern. And I'm bringing this article up from Vegas because I'm pretty sure that there's plenty of people in, California who are on Section 8, are still struggling because of the extremely high cost of living. And guess what? Las Vegas is a 3-hour drive away from Los Angeles. So you could just take your voucher, move on over to Vegas. And that is if you can find a landlord who will accept it. So anyway, let's get into the article and see what it says. A Philadelphia woman recently bypassed the wait list for public housing on Oahu and landed herself in an apartment in Mililani. Tamika Palmer chose to port to Hawaii under the Federal Housing Voucher Program. It's a feature under the Section 8 program called portability, allowing voucher holders in one location to move to another rental unit of their choice. But it's also raising eyebrows at a time when residents are facing long delays for vouchers. In an interview with HNN, Palmer recalled her life back at the East Coast. Walking outside was ducking bullets and checking your car to report if it was bullets in your vehicle before you drove off, Palmer said. Quite a bit of an upgrade, and the unity. It's a lot of caring people out here. Yeah, I mean, I can't blame this lady for not wanting to live in Philadelphia, okay? Philadelphia is not exactly known to be the nicest place. Now, I know there's nice parts of town, and, it's got a beautiful downtown area, but, the city has seen better days. And for her in particular, she was living in low-income Section 8 housing in a rough area, obviously, where shootings, etc. were going on, right? Well, it paid for her to get the heck out of there. And she was like, well, if I'm going to move to the suburbs, why not go further, go where I really want to be? And the government is going to pay for it. Okay? You know how ridiculous this is? She exposed a huge, huge flaw within this system. And, it's just... It's funny to me. It's funny to me because, I always sit here and I rant and rave against government waste and government abuse. And, now they can really see this case in particular is a shining example of it. Meanwhile, criticism erupted on social media about Palmer's case, with people saying it's unfair that she got a unit while others wait in line. The rules say people with a Section 8 voucher don't need to wait. Anton Krucke, Director of Community Services for the city, noted 13 residents have ported out of Honolulu. The 13 that left, some of those are funded, some are not, said Krucke. But the way we get our funding, whenever you have programs like this, there's a lot of guidelines, and we're able to manage those guidelines. So one is we can pay the funding, but then we also get the funding back. Krucke said there are currently 532 people on Oahu that are waiting for a Section 8 voucher. So I brought up before how I think these waiting lists are a scam, okay? They have all these Section 8 waiting lists. People are on these waiting lists for years on end, right? Saying, oh, I need affordable housing, I need a voucher, and I won't be able to survive and pay for housing without it. Yet, for some reason, you're able to sit on the waiting list, pay full price for housing for years before you finally get that voucher. So what does that tell you? You know what it tells me is that you don't need the voucher. If you're able to wait to get Section 8 for years, you don't need the voucher. If you're able to pay your rent just fine without Section 8 for years on end, you don't need the voucher. Okay, these programs are a scam. And now these scam artists who are sitting on this waiting list are mad at this lady who already has her voucher, who is also scamming. The scammers are getting mad at the other scammers. That's how ridiculous this is, okay? And, I'm just laughing. I'm sitting over on the side. I'm on the side of the people who pay their bills on their own, who don't sit around and beg for free government money for 5-10 years or whatever, okay? So anyway, I thought this was an interesting story, and I'll put a link to the article, so that you can read more about it in the description, okay?